Holy crap, I actually found it! A Roblox fighting game where every character isn't just 4 combo extenders and an overpowered instant win awakening. Actual creativity? What the hell? I thought this was impossible. Welcome to Psychic Battlegrounds, a game I was introduced to a while back that for once actually managed to keep my interest. Mostly because it's the only Battleground game on Roblox that's actually tried to do anything special with its mechanics and characters. Of course, that's not to say it's perfect, because no Roblox fighting game is, but compared to the other games I've played so far, I'd say this one's the most creative out of all of them. And yet, it's the most underrated too. It's not dead per se, but it certainly doesn't have the players it deserves. So I'm hoping with this video, I can change that up and get this game some more players, because it definitely deserves them more than a few other games on Roblox. So let's start with what's good about the game before moving on to some things that might turn people away, and wrapping up with an overall summary of the whole game. First, the creativity. That's the big thing about this game that makes it actually stand out from other games, but might also be the reason it's ignored compared to games that just take TSB's combat system and slap a new coat of paint on it. This game has all kinds of crazy stuff that's really cool, like orbs that drop down from the sky, which give you buffs for a short amount of time, and all kinds of cosmetics that are honestly really cool. They've got stuff like literal meteor showers, and even Sukuna for some reason. And this game definitely has all kinds of crazy stuff that makes the main game actually kind of fun compared to other more traditional games where it's literally just a fancier base plate. Having this stuff in the game makes it a lot of fun, and it's one of the reasons I like this game more than others, because it actually tried taking a risk and doing something unique instead of just doing the same thing the clones of the strongest Battlegrounds did. Moving on from the crazy unique stuff they've got in the main game, let's talk about the actual characters they have. Because honestly, this is the best part of all of it. Each character is actually unique with their own kind of playstyle, which fits however you want to play. For example, Mob is a character who has really good combos and has a dash that can give him a lot of mobility. However, his dash doesn't combo start, and to get good damage, he really does need to pull off those combos. This makes him a more skilled character, but also a really fun one that's sort of a good all-rounder. His awakenings are also pretty insane, and you can get 2 different awakenings depending on if you use it while you're alive or while you're dead. However, Raken is a bit different, with less long and drawn out combos, but a dash that combo starts and a counter that also combo starts. He's great at starting combos, has pretty good mobility, and even though his combos aren't too long or punishing, they've still got a decent amount of damage. Finally, Teruki is based around a sort of rushdown playstyle with no great true combos, but a lot of moves that are great for getting people on get up. Sort of a perfect scrub killer in a way. He does a lot of damage in exchange for not being able to really chain his moves together reliably, and it's a kind of unique design. What's more is that there are different dashes for different characters, which is something I haven't seen in any other Roblox fighting game based off the strongest Battlegrounds. Such as Mob having a dash that lets him go into the air or go anywhere he wants to, but doesn't combo start, and Reagan having a drop kick that does combo start, but doesn't have the same amount of mobility that Mob or Teruki have. The reason all of this is creative is because each character has their own unique sort of playstyle and abilities, with pretty much everything being different, down to even the dashes. It's insane how special each character is, and definitely different from how other games make their rosters. Go to pretty much any other game and you'll end with fairly similar characters, that are just, I combo people really well, but I have this one move that's not made for combos. And while a big part of it is because of how stun simulators have taken over Roblox, that's a topic for another day in another video. The bottom line is that this game takes the time to try and switch things up a bit, which is definitely a good thing in my book. Aside from the creativity, the base combat is honestly really well polished. The M1 system works really well, and is definitely smoother than some others. Not so great. The M1 system works really well, and is definitely smoother than some other not so great games. They've got your basic TSB mechanics, smooth side dashing, and of course the unique dashes for each character. Ragdoll canceling is also a thing, and there's a bar that tells you when you can do it again. Something special though is move canceling, which you can do by pressing E. And though I don't know all of the move cancels in the game, I do know you can cancel Dispel to turn it into a combo extender, which is pretty cool. Everything in this game is super well polished, and even if it's not bug free, most bugs are addressed pretty quickly. The base combat, something that I personally value more than anything when playing a fighting game, is super solid, and what I like about this game the most. It's definitely better than some other games that don't give 2 craps about their base combat. Finally, The last thing that's great about this game is all the cosmetics they have. Emotes, titles, and clothing can all be bought with cash that you get by killing other players. And it gives you a reason to keep playing, so that you can get all the emotes, titles, or clothes, which is a lot better than other games where it's all about making some number go up with no actual reward besides the occasional emote. Another positive for this game's creativity. That's all of the stuff I really have to say about the game's positives. So let's move on to what might make people turn away from this game. Alright, I know I listed this game's creativity as a positive, and it is. That's why this section is the reasons why people might not play this game, rather than actual bad things about it, because there aren't really a lot of those. See, the more creative and unique you make your game, and the more complex systems you add, the harder it is to get into it. Now, fighting game experts like me don't have any difficulty adjusting, and can usually get into different games easily. However, the average Roblox demographic isn't some sweat who's never touched grass, but instead your average iPad kid watching Huggy Wuggy Minecraft Monster School don't drink this potion at 3 AM crap. Most of these kids only know about TSB's combat system, and even though this game is close enough to it that people should have no trouble learning, for people with the mental capacity of a salt shaker, it can be a little weird. So yeah, the creative liberties of the game might actually make it a game people don't play. Now, if a developer is watching this game, please do not take this message as me telling you to be less creative. Your creativity is great, there should be more of it on Roblox, and you should just keep going the way you are right now. Okay, next negative. I won't sugarcoat it, this game doesn't have a lot of content. There's 2 complete characters, one that's pretty much complete but is missing some moves for his awakening, and an early access that doesn't actually exist yet, meaning you have 3 playable characters total, not counting the extra abilities like Sukuna or Tatsumaki. Now, this is more of a consequence of a game being sort of new, and not something that can just be magically fixed, so it really shouldn't be held against the game that much. However, there is still a lack of characters to play, even if they're all pretty creative, and without characters, most Roblox players probably won't care. That's probably not the only reason they don't care, because honestly, not that many people care that much about Mob Psycho 100. I mean, in all the anime Battleground games, the only character who ever gets added is Mob, and no one else. So that might also be a reason that there's such a low player count. Finally, the game being sort of dead does put a bit of a damper on everything, especially with ranked, making it take forever to get a ranked match. The important thing to note is that most of these issues are sort of out of the hands of the developers, and aren't really a reason to not play the game, but more so a reason for the player count being low. If you've got friends who are good at fighting games, and don't care which anime a game is from, go on and play this game. It's a blast if you've got people to actually play with, and I definitely recommend it to people with an open mind. It's a good Battleground game that focuses more on the combat than having a bunch of flashy but unbalanced characters. Give it a try if you've got the time. Now, let's wrap the video up. Overall, Psychic Battlegrounds is a pretty great game. It does have its roots in the strongest Battlegrounds, but it also changes things up and adds in some new stuff to separate it from the endless competition out there. The main problem with the game is the lack of players that makes ranked not work, and that's an issue that's completely out of the developer's hands. When you take the game for what it is and ignore its low player count, it's a great Battleground game that really should have more players. So maybe you can give it the player count it deserves, and give Psychic Battlegrounds a chance, because this game really is worth your time. That's all from me, subscribe for more stuff like this, and I'll see you later. Have a good one, noobs.